Jason know. We'll make sure we do some research just for you. What we're going to cover today is how marketing is changing and different ways that you can shine online, what it means for your practice, and how we can help if you need any. So really where I wanted to start is, the question is, how do your prospects find you? For many practices, leveraging Yellow Pages, print media, and in some cases radio and broadcast media were really effective tools for promoting yourself in general. They still in some cases can be effective, but I can tell you that particularly here in the US, the majority of people, when they are trying to find something that they need really quickly, is to do it with a search engine. Right now, 97% of consumers search for a local business online when they're in need, and attorneys happens to be one of the categories that is a popular one, as I'm sure all of you know very well. So if marketing has shifted to online and in many cases mobile, how can we make sure that you show up? So the first thing is obviously making sure that you can be found in search. And I wanted to put together a few legal specific stats for you in terms of how it's working. As I mentioned, the majority of consumers are searching for businesses online, and a lot of this is done on mobile. Half of all searches this month were done on a mobile phone, and 92% of Facebook's users are doing it via a mobile device. So what you're seeing is that the phone is becoming a very intense part of people's overall experience when they're looking for things. And also, you know what, we're a little lazy here in the US. How you rank in search is critical. 90% of people stop searching after page 1. 75% stop after the 5th listing. So in many cases, you're trying to optimize yourself for specific areas of your practice, for attorneys, for anything that you can figure out in your specific market, and content and a number of different factors on your website can help do that. Now, in your field, more than many other industries that we work with, search engine marketing or pay-per-click marketing, whether it be on a search engine or a social media channel, is significantly more popular than other industries. And in many cases, depending on how competitive your market is, and it sounds like some of the cities that we heard from, they're pretty competitive markets, this becomes a bigger part of your overall play. Unfortunately, you have some of the most expensive keywords in all of Google. You rank your legal and attorney rank number 4 in terms of costs per lead. So it's really important to have a plan and have somebody on your team or a partner that can really help you make sure that what you decide to spend is going to get you the highest return on investment possible. A couple of different ways that we do that is considering the right keywords. You know, attorneys Nevada, for example, is going to be significantly more expensive than maybe a trial attorney in Vegas would be. So the more that you can identify really what you want to be known for and where you believe you can be the right fit, those keywords are the ones that are going to do the best for you. If you'd like to test a little bit on your own, Google has an AdWords keyword planner, and we also do a lot of competitive research, as Jason mentioned, trying to see what your competitors are buying as well, because that gives us an excellent benchmark of how to distinguish you uniquely in your space. Another key tenet of being successful in this space is to be highly relevant. And by that I mean use the keywords specifically in the text of the ad, but most importantly, have a landing page strategy. By that I mean, don't send me to your homepage. If I've looked up the keyword divorce lawyer San Francisco, don't send me to your homepage that covers every practice you have. Take me to a page that specifically correlates to the search terms that I had. You'll also find that you'll get a much higher relevant lead, as well as lower cost per click when you can be as relevant as possible. And you want to devote a lot of content on your site and your social media posts that are related to your key practice areas, because if somebody happens to search for the term, I think I used divorce attorney San Francisco, and you show up in the paid search on the top of Google, and you also have relevant content in the free area, the majority of consumers will consider you to be more relevant, and they will click the free ad, thank goodness, to find your content, because they're making an assumption that that's the most relevant place for them to go. Here's the ugly sheet that shows you that attorney is the 4th highest, most expensive keyword on Google. This is a Google-specific one, and in many cases, your average cost per lead can be $47. So if you have any questions about how to make sure your website is shown up on search engines, if you are performing where you think you should be, what you should be looking at to maximize any paid search that you want to do, or a mobile website, which we didn't have a chance to mention but is a key driver of relevance on search, just let Jason know, because we can help look at where you stand right now and offer you advice in any of those areas. So starting with a mobile-friendly website and being found on search is your foundation for shining online. And next we move into social media, which I know is a hot topic and one of the areas that many people have questions about how to be successful in this space. The first thing I want to share is it ties into search as well, as I mentioned earlier. It's really important to have relevant content on your website as well as on your social channels. Almost think through what are the questions that people ask when they call us. What are the things that they're typing into a search box? What are the things on their mind when they need us? And you should have content related to that topic. And if you need any help creating content, our team can help. Just let Jason know. Really what we think about when we're trying to create relevant content is to sort of get your head out of thinking through what your business is like as a business owner or as a lawyer in your practice, and think more like your customer. What are they thinking about when they type in what they need from you? For example, they may not type in divorce attorney. They may type in, I need a divorce. Like, what is it that they're thinking about at that time? What are they like? What characteristics do they have? Some law firms that we work with that practice in what I would call bail activity, trial activity, we recognize that 1/3 of our customer base is going to use totally different keywords and maybe more slang than another section of the practice. So really think through what are the characteristics of your customer, what motivates your customer, what would make them call you more than someone else, how do they spend their time, and what is it that you're asking them to do in every post. That's something that we think through a lot, which I call the why of what you're trying to say. Your greatest assets as a company, as a law practice, and as an individual practitioner are different pieces of your story, customers that you've helped. Photographs and video can be incredibly effective. What experience are you creating? For example, are you making your client's life easier? Are you ensuring their assets are considered? Are you protecting them? Like, what is the customer experience? How can you help people and be a resource? And what makes you different? Those are the key things to be thinking about every day. And if you're doing marketing yourself, make sure that you're speaking to those things. If you need help with marketing, then ask for it, but make sure that you own trying to leverage your own assets, because you know yourself best. Attorneys are actually very active on social media as well, with about 64% of them using it as part of their overall marketing for their practice, according to the most recent survey by Attorney at Work. A couple of different ways that you can shine on social if you've set up your practice on any of the different channels, which we'll talk about in a minute. The first one is connect widely. I often get the question, hey, I get these requests all the time for people trying to connect with me on LinkedIn. Do I do it? Do I not do it? And in most cases, the larger your web, the better. It doesn't mean that you need to have random people, because obviously we're looking for qualified leads, but if you get an inquiry from someone, in many cases it's good to connect. Post regularly to stay top of mind, and monitor your pages in case anybody is asking you questions. Because we've had one law firm where we had a client or past client that was involved in the trial start posting on the page. So we monitor the page in real time, and we're able to quickly diffuse that situation because we could see the posts coming up, contact her by phone, screenshot everything, of course, for the record, and then delete the posts. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening and that you're posting out, but also recognizing what people post in. Discovery and sharing of content is really helpful. If you see a particular piece in the news that you think is insightful, that you'd like your clients to know about, share it with them. Blogs can be a very effective tool to establish expertise and thought leadership and offer consistent branding. If you have questions about how to do any of that, let us know. So I wanted to show you a few examples of effective Facebook pages. And by the way, Jason can make this deck available to all of you who are with us today. So we're going to go through some of these examples pretty quickly, but if you'd like a copy of the deck so that you can see them yourself, he can send one your way. Here are a couple of interesting and effective Facebook pages where one of the things I look for isn't just the size of the fan base, it's how engaged they are in having conversations with their potential clients and audience. And these are a couple that have excellent branding, a strong voice, and good content. Twitter can be a terrific way to connect with potential clients and also to establish thought leadership. I'd recommend this one if you find that your audience is upwardly mobile, early adopters of any kind, or if you're blogging and creating excellent content. Twitter is one of the strongest ways for us to spread that word and get people to read it for you. Google+, least sexy social network, one of the most important to you and your industry. Even though you may or may not be reaching a lot of consumers when you're on Google+, consider this to be your business profile on the largest search engine in the world. These two examples I'm showing you here, you can see in the number just under the follow button that they have a certain amount of followers. And in the case of Montlick and Associates, we only have 2,500 followers. However, they've shown up 363,743 times high in search as a result of this page being well branded with content on it. So Google+ is really critical. If it's not something you're doing now, you should be. If you need help doing it, let us know. But this can not only reduce your overall spend in terms of paid search, it can make you show up more effectively, organically, to get higher results from everything that you do with search. LinkedIn is one of the most popular social networks for attorneys. It's important to have a personal page for your key attorneys on the team, as well as a page for your practice. And YouTube. The human brain can absorb photographs or video 60,000 times faster than text, and many people turn to YouTube first as their primary search engine. So if you can answer questions that people type in with a video, your chances of lead conversion are considerably higher. So what I look for on YouTube as best practices are people who are literally just answering questions. In this case, why should I get a prenuptial agreement? If you have particular FAQs you could answer, you don't need fancy videos, you can use your cell phone, or if you need help creating a professional video or video series, our team can help. If you need any help with social media channels, strategic planning to know what direction you should head in, how to be competitive, what kinds of posts are going to work for you in your market, how to distinguish you in your market, blogs, what do I write, can you write it for me, or video, just let the team know and we can make sure we get some customized recommendations for you, including also websites or mobile websites if you need anything like that. So when you have a mobile-friendly website, you can get found on search engines, and you have strong content and social media, you're really in a strong position to shine online. So now I wanted to make sure we had plenty of time for questions so we could get specific with any of you that would like to. And as I said, if you do want more specifics just about you and your practice, let Jason know because we can do some homework for you as well. I see the chat box moving. Jason, you're still muted.
Oh, there we go. You can't read lips yet? Yeah, we do have some questions. So Sylvia wants to know, what does it mean that attorneys are the 4th most expensive search term on Google? Can you hear me now? Is that good?
I sure can. That's a great question. So what it means is out of all the terms people may buy, attorneys tends to be very competitive in that many attorneys are leveraging paid search as a solution. So something such as general as, let's say, attorneys San Francisco, because it is such a competitive landscape with so many attorneys trying to be the first one at that search term, that it drives the price up. Demand drives the price up. And in this case, insurance is a highly volatile category, and legal is number 4. So a couple of ways that you can get a sense of what it might be like in your marketplace is search under the terms that you would like to show up on and see how many paid ads are there. If there are a lot under that search, you can guarantee that it's going to be competitive, and you can try to place an ad or ask Jason and he can get you some quotes. Or you could take a different strategy, which is to be more specific. Rather than say attorney San Francisco, you could say trial lawyer the Mission District, or a specific geography that may help it become a little bit easier. But ultimately, the highest demand is going to drive the highest prices.
Great. Another question, how do I get on Google Plus? And they're already active on LinkedIn, so it doesn't matter.
Great. It's terrific to be active on LinkedIn. That's wonderful. Google Plus is separate. If you're using a Gmail account, or if you've claimed the PIN on the Google Map for your business, you already have a Google Plus page and you're logged in, you should be able to select Google My Business and manage that page. If not, then you can Google yourself, find the listing for your business and claim it, and that will help you create a Google Plus page. It's a pretty thorny process, and it can take up to 6 to 8 weeks in many cases. We deal with hundreds and hundreds of these each month. So if you try those items and you aren't able to successfully get the page started, let Jason know and we'll help you out.
Jenna has a good question about content. So what type of content should, and I don't know the exact practice, Jenna, but what type of content do you recommend just attorneys in general produce? So she has ideas like reposting news, how about other articles, but how do you weigh that with original content?
I think that's a terrific question, Jenna. Particularly when I'm looking at social media or a blog, once or twice a week, sharing relevant news from other people with your analysis, a little bit of your analysis on top, like why you think it's a great article, what particularly you're trying to
too. I don't know if that changes.
Oh, criminal law. Yeah. Okay. So what you thought that was meaningful about it, that's great. The other things, you should have a regular schedule of original content as well, because not only is that going to be helpful to your audience and your potential clients, but it's also going to make you show up higher in search engines as well as in social. So I think a balance between shared and original is effective. And in terms of what types of original content to create, think about the most frequently asked questions you get, or the most typical situations that get people into trouble when they need to call you. Those topics are going to be some of the most effective in terms of reaching both the customer as well as helping them remember you if and when they need you.
And then on a like question from Paul regarding video, should it be totally professional, more organic, and with confidentiality, how do you balance that with content?
Confidentiality is a tough one. So I would say that the first thing to think is professional is great if you're trying to just illustrate your practice. When you're looking at general ones, I would say less professional is fine if you're doing frequent posting and you're answering people's questions. So I would have a nice one about my practice, a nice one about our expertise, and then if I wanted to answer one question a week, like do I need a prenuptial agreement, we've shot a lot of them with iPhones or Androids and a tripod. And I think frequency and relevancy is more important in that case. But you should have a couple nice ones for the practice.
What about a new firm, so relatively new firm, and this is from Jeff, a new firm, should they focus on paid versus the showing up in the organic side of things?
So for a new firm, you're going to need to do both. Obviously, organic always matters, but it will take you a while to build up your reputation, so to speak, and recognition of all the search engines. So you're probably going to need to balance paid and organic, and then over time, as you create more and more relevant content, you will be able to shift that more and see your organic start lifting more of the weight. But for now, you're going to need to acquire it and look at paid. In some markets, I looked at statistics in some of the cities in the U.S., and there are attorneys spending $30,000 a month on search. I'm certainly not saying that any of you have to do that by any stretch of the imagination, but I am saying in some of the cities that I heard mentioned, it's not uncommon. So it's important for you to think about your what your goals are and start seeing how crowded the space is for what you want to show up under. We can do an analysis for you if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm getting some really good specific questions, so please let's make sure we connect after. I do want to answer those questions. For example, Jeff wants to know, is his mobile website, or he wants to see good examples of a mobile website. What should they be looking for, even in a landing page? So really good questions. Yep. Make sure to schedule those times. They're great. I mean, you get this information, but specifically for you. And yes, we'll be happy to answer those questions. Thank you all for joining us. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them, but I want to be mindful of your time. Shannon, thank you so much. I know it was a whirlwind, but hey, we should do this again sometime.
I'd love to. Thanks everybody for being there.
Thank you all. Have a great day, and make sure to reach out to me. You can reach me at jason@thelightdigital.com or give me a call. Find me on Twitter. Make sure to connect with Shannon on LinkedIn. Do that today. That's your call to action, and Twitter. So have a great day. I will talk with you all later.